Hey guys, this is DFS Chant coming to you live on February 9th um, to talk about tonight's and tomorrow morning LPL, LCK, DFS slate. It's a 4 game slate. Back to the basics, back to normal. 4 game slate, typical Thursday morning slate. So we're back to our normal 4 game, 5 game slates that we'll have around the weekends and all that. So yeah, let's dive into the Chinese LPL games first. As you guys know, LPL generally is more bloody than LCK, so I think a lot more people tend to play LPL stacks more than LCK stacks. But I may have an exception today because for the reasons that I'll explain further here in the video. So IG versus Rare Atom is the first matchup of the day in China. As you guys probably saw on my Twitter, Invictus Gaming is a slight underdog, and Rare Atom is a slight favorite at -250. So you see here the roster that I posted, but for Invictus Gaming, Zika in the top lane is starting again. He's one of the development players. I mean, he's already had a few games under his belt so far in the season, but he's fairly new. Unlike the jungler for that team, June, who is probably a top 5 jungler in my opinion, in the LPL. And then they're starting Yukai, and then instead of Xiao Yuji, they're starting On at 80 carry, which I'm not a huge fan of On. I really like Xiao Yuji much better for IG, and I feel like they do play better with Xiao Yuji instead of On. But it's also that Xiao Yuji has had more games with this roster than On has. So maybe, giving On a few more chances to gel with the teammates to see what that synergy is like, would be like rather for IG. So I think they're still kind of in the experimental mode, in my opinion. And they're going up against Rare Atom. I mentioned this in my preseason power rankings video for the LPL. But Rare Atom, in my opinion, is the second most consistent team in the LPL, other than EDG. Rare Atom, even though their ceiling and upside is limited compared to like other elite teams, so-called, like top esports. Well, not so much top esports right now, but maybe like JDG, Fun Plus Phoenix, not JDG, I'm sorry, Fun Plus Phoenix. And then let's see what other. It's been a while, so yeah, JDG is 5-5. So JDG, yeah. So anyway, the point is, I feel like their ceiling is low, but their floor is very high for Rare Atom. They have had this 5 starting for a while, at least for the entire split. This split, I know. Strive coming in the mid lane. People were thinking, oh, Strive's not that great, and blah, blah, blah. But Strive actually has been really, really good, in my opinion. And I feel like he is more skilled than Yukai is, their opponent, counterpart in this matchup. And I feel like in this meta, mid laner difference has made a very big difference, in my opinion. Just given the patch and given the teleport changes and all that, and the mid priority, I feel like it has, at least in my model, that the mid laner matchup is very important to predicting the match outcome, in my opinion. So, and then one other thing to analyze is Leanne versus June. Like I said, June, I do think June is a better jungler. But Leanne has been a solid jungler over the years for Rare Atom and for IG. This is kind of like a revenge narrative for Leanne to playing against his former team, but I just feel like Rare Atom with the consistency, and then after a long break, like the Chinese New Year or the Lunar New Year break, I just feel like the more consistent teams are more likely to kind of make less mistakes, fewer mistakes, and kind of gives themselves a few more win conditions in my opinion compared to IG in this case. So I'm gonna have to pick Rare Atom here to win. So let's see how much the kill upside is in this matchup. Rare Atom and Invictus Gaming. So 0.745. And this is what I kind of mentioned earlier about why I think LCK, the Korean teams, are more viable on the slate compared to like previous DFS slates. Previous like hybrid DFS slates with LCK and LPL matchups. I do think today Rare Atom is a very, like I said, slow team. They like to win around objectives. They do not fight for no reason. They're a very smart team. They play like an LCK team, so-called. So, just imagine that there's another LCK team on the slate. So maybe we have 3 LCK matchups. Just joking, but yeah. So anyway, so Rare Atom plays slow. Like you see, I mean, the data supports it. The CKPM is 0.74. So it's pretty low. I mean, IG, it's not like IG, their opponent has been playing fast too, they've been playing slow at 0.75. So 0.74, 0.75. So I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I do think the kill upside is fairly low compared to like, standard LPL games. The second Chinese game is JDG versus Team WE. Let's look at their roster. JDG is starting the usual 5, 369, Kanavi, Agao, Hope, and Missing. And then Team WE is starting View, Shanks, Xing, and Kadaya. So the bottom lane is what's interesting to see. Obviously, you guys know about View, and then View and Shanks. But the bottom lane is what I have some issues with. And Hope and Missing have been playing really good. And Kanavi in the jungle sling matchup, I do think he has claimed his elite jungler status back. So far in the split, carrying that team on his back, in my opinion. And other lanes have been playing somewhat better than like last year. So I do think it's an improvement for JDG. And Team WE, like I said, I'm concerned about their bot lane, but Shanks is really good. And Biobi is, pretty good as well. So anything can happen. But, here I'm going to have to give the edge just based on the roster to JDG. And I do want to look at JDG's stats. So as you see, I mean, it's not to just go back and forth, but Rare Atom has the highest jungle control percentage. So that supports my prediction for Rare Atom. I mean, by a lot. So even though I do think June is really good, I think the data shows that Leanne has been playing pretty well for that team. So I do think that supports our prediction for that matchup. And then JDG versus WE, I was looking at JDG actually has a around a little over 4% jungle control advantage, and then the lane control advantage as well. So that it's interesting. I do think JDG should win, but I think WE can maybe get a game or two, get a game off of the series. So I do think JDG wins 2-1. And JDG has struggled a little bit, at the end to closing out games. So I do think that is going to hurt them a little bit. So that's why I'm predicting 2-1. I do want to see one thing here before we move over to Korea, is that I want to see the mid laner matchups here. IG, Rare Atom, like I said, I want to see how Strive Um, it is compared to Yukai. Um, I usually look at like the goal difference and all that, but it's not available for some reason. So damage per minute, that's interesting. Okay, Yukai and Strava are really good, both of them. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know why the Chinese league does not provide these data for Oracle. Okay, well, let's look at the Korean matchups. I'm gonna go to LCK here to see if the odds have changed. Minus 750 and minus 1200. So it's remained the same since I posted the starter confirmation. But Damwon Gaming, Damwon Kia, at big favorite at minus 750. But then they're not the biggest favorite on the slate because Gen.G is at minus 1200. So they're playing against Kwangdong Freaks and Live Sandbox respectively. And I fully expect both teams to win. Both favorites, Damwon Kia and Gen.G, in their respective matchups. Let's look at the roster predictions, expected lineups rather. I do think Birdall's going to start, just given how well he played last few games, instead of Hoya. So I think Birdall's going to start. And then for Kwangdong Freaks, it's a little more up in the air, especially in the jungling position, and then in the top laner. But they were talking a lot about maybe bringing up different players and all that for Kwangdong Freaks in the Lunar New Year break. But I do think they're still gonna start, expected to start rather. So, but literally every single matchup except for the top lane, maybe. I mean, Keen also has been playing bad, but Canyon advantage over LM, Showmaker advantage over Fate, who's been in bad form too. I think Teddy is good. I mean, I think Teddy has been playing well, somewhat well for that team. I mean, it's in a bad environment for the team. He actually has been shining by himself quite a bit in certain circumstances. In certain situations, I think in most games, I'd say Teddy has been the best player for that team. But so I do think he has a little bit of advantage over Duckdom, but Duckdom and Kellen have been playing pretty solid together. I don't know about Teddy and Hoyt's synergy here, but so anyway, overall, I think Damwon Kia has an advantage overall. I think Damwon Kia should win 2-0. I feel like Kwangdong Freaks has been really bad. They had made so many like dysfunctional mistakes. I think I said it on the last video that Kwangdong Freaks was on the slate for. I just feel like they were just making so many individual and bad mistakes, that are beyond fixable, I think, in a game, after a game. So I think it's going to take a few games, at least several games, I think. So against Damwon Kia, who can punish you for those mistakes, I feel like Damwon Kia should really win the series hands down. And then Gen.G versus Live Sandbox. Gen.G is second best team in the LCK. Super team, super squad. Against Live Sandbox, who's been playing, a little bit better. I do want to see the last Live Sandbox game that they played. Live Sandbox lost to Hanwha Life. So that's not a good sign for Live Sandbox. But that was a while ago, before the Lunar New Year break, and Gen.G lost to KT Roaster, which was very unexpected. Everybody thought that Gen.G was going to go undefeated along with T1 until the Lunar New Year's break. But they, lost in a trap game against KT. KT is not a bad team either, so it's not like they lost to, Brion or anything like that. So I do think Gen.G will bounce back. I do think this is going to be a Gen.G wins 2-0 as well. I know there are boring takes, but they're that much better than these two bottom tier teams, in my opinion. I just don't see many win conditions attached to Guangdong Freaks or Lift Sandbox. I feel like Damwon Kia and Genji both have the talent on paper, on its, on the paper, but also they have shown that they can play well as a team. And even if they get behind, they have shown me ways to come back and carry the team or turtle out the game so that they can they can evolve, they can scale rather, and then win the game that way late in the game. So I just feel like, it's going to be a 2-0 in each of the matchups, in my opinion. But like I said, these teams have had a break, at least like a week-long break due to Lunar New Year's. So maybe they're rusty coming off the break. I don't know. But, expecting them to, win the series overall. So I do want to see the LCK stats real quick before we end the video, just to see the kill upside for these matchups. Actually, I forgot to do that for JDG versus WE. So let me do that real quick. So I apologize. It's around 0.83. So that's clearly faster than the IG versus Rare Atom matchup. So JDG versus WE is projected to be probably the highest kill upside here on the slate. Let's look at the LCK matchups. CKPM is around 0.15, 0.08, 0.59, like around 60. So that's low, as you guys know. I do want to see how fast they've been playing for Damwon. Yes, still really slow. So Genji and Sandbox. I do think this will be a little quick, faster. 8470. So, and then I want to see. Oh, that's actually in wins. 0.74 in wins. 0.71 overall. So 0.69. So yeah, I do want to. I want to say, like I said, JDG versus Team WE, bloodiest, and then the second LPL matchups for Rare Atom and IG, and then the LCK matchups. And amongst the LCK matchups, Genji versus Sandbox is projected to be higher and quicker and bloodier. So, for what it's worth, that's where it is. I do want to see if the Bovada has those kills over under. Let's look at that. 21.5. Excuse me. I sniffling. 222.5 over under. So that kind of supports that as well. Let's look at the LPL base odds, and I'll end the video. Let you guys start building. So first matchup, IG versus Rare Atom, is projected at 25.5. Wow. I would bet under that if I were a straight better. And 26.5 for the JDG versus Team WE. So as you can see, I mean, that's quite a difference between the LCK and LPL matchups. I do think this is quite high for the Rare Atom matchup, just looking at the numbers ourselves. But, if you're into straight betting, I think that is under 20.5.5 is a good bet. So yeah, anyway, So if you guys have any questions, let me know on on YouTube, Twitter, or Discord. And also, if you like the video, please hit the like button here, and please hit the subscribe button if you are interested in seeing more videos from the sponsor of this video, True DFS. So that would be great. And I really appreciate you guys for watching. And yeah, feel free to holler at me. Thanks.